The crisp night air carried the murmur of distant traffic as Ethan Montgomery strolled through his private park, lost in contemplation. A self-made millionaire, he possessed vast wealth but felt an unshakable emptiness within. His wife, Claire, once the light of his life, had lost her vision in a devastating accident, and since then, their home had become a place of silence and sorrow. As he turned to leave, his gaze fell upon a small, frail figure lying motionless on the cobblestone path. A young girl, barely 10, clad in tattered clothing, her hands clenching an empty tin can. Hunger and exhaustion had overcome her. An inexplicable emotion surged through Ethan's chest. Without hesitation, he lifted her into his arms and carried her to his mansion. He could not have foreseen how this single act of kindness would alter the course of his life forever. Ethan Montgomery had built his empire through sharp intellect and relentless determination, but beneath his composed exterior lay a man burdened by grief. His business thrived, but his heart carried a void that wealth could not fill. Claire, once a passionate painter whose art had graced galleries, had become a shadow of herself after losing her sight. Her world, once vibrant and filled with color, had faded to darkness. Ethan, desperate to ease her suffering, buried himself in work, trying in vain to compensate for what they had lost. Meanwhile, Lily had known nothing but hardship. Orphaned at a young age, she had been forced to navigate the unforgiving streets, scavenging for scraps and avoiding the dangers that lurked in alleyways. She had slept in abandoned buildings, endured the cold without so much as a blanket, and learned to mistrust those who claimed to help. When Ethan found her collapsed in his park, she had endured days without food, her frail body succumbing to exhaustion. The streets had made her tough, but beneath her ragged exterior was a child who had never known real kindness. Upon arriving at the mansion, Ethan ensured that Lily received proper care. His staff prepared a warm meal, ran a bath, and dressed her in clean clothes. She lay in a soft bed that night, unable to recall the last time she had felt warmth or safety. And yet, she remained alert, her instincts warning her that this kindness could be temporary. People had failed her before, and she expected no different now. Claire, though initially hesitant, could sense the girl's trepidation. Though she could not see, her other senses had sharpened, allowing her to perceive the subtleties of Lily's guarded movements, the way she barely spoke, the weight of her silence. Claire knew too well what it meant to live in fear of the unknown. Instead of pushing, she chose a gentler approach. She left small gestures of kindness, offering a handkerchief when Lily sneezed, inviting her to sit close during meals, leaving a cup of warm cocoa by her bedside. These gestures did not go unnoticed, even if Lily did not immediately respond. Days turned into weeks, and though Lily remained cautious, a shift began to take place. She started observing Claire, studying her movements, and recognizing the patience in her voice. Slowly, she responded, first with small nods, then hesitant words, until finally, she allowed herself to trust. Ethan, witnessing the gradual change, felt a spark of hope flicker within him. Perhaps, just perhaps, this broken home could become whole again. Lily awoke in an unfamiliar room, overwhelmed by the luxury surrounding her. The soft bed beneath her, the scent of freshly laundered sheets, and the distant hum of classical music filtering through the walls were all foreign to her senses. Panic gripped her momentarily, but before she could act, the soothing voice of Mrs. Hale, the Montgomerys' housekeeper, reassured her. She was not in danger here, quite the opposite. Ethan had resolved to shelter her temporarily, ensuring she regained her strength and health. He instructed the staff to attend to her needs, providing her with nourishing meals and comfortable clothes. At first, Lily remained distant, a silent observer in the vast, opulent mansion. She ate quietly at the grand dining table, barely speaking a word, her wariness evident. Yet, as days passed, the relentless kindness she encountered began to chip away at her defenses. She started responding with small gestures, a hesitant nod, a quiet "thank you," an uncertain glance that lingered just a little longer than before. Claire, though unable to see, became deeply attuned to Lily's presence. The child's quiet movements, the way she hesitated before speaking, the slight tremor in her breath, it all reminded Claire of her own struggles after losing her sight. Slowly, she sought to bridge the gap between them. She engaged Lily in conversation, asking her to describe the colors of the sunrise, the patterns of the flowers in the garden, the way the sky changed as the day wore on. At first, Lily answered in simple, short phrases, unsure of her words. But as time passed, she began to relish the opportunity to paint a world with language, shaping it into something vivid and tangible. The mansion, once filled with an eerie stillness, now echoed with quiet laughter, whispered stories, and shared discoveries. Claire, who had long isolated herself, found herself anticipating each morning's conversation with Lily. She asked the girl to read to her, to recount the way the wind rustled the trees and the leaves danced in the autumn air. With each passing day, Lily's descriptions grew more detailed, her voice more confident. And in return, Claire taught her things she had never known: how to appreciate music beyond just the sound, how to find beauty in things unseen, how to embrace life beyond mere survival. One afternoon, Claire played the piano for Lily, her fingers moving gracefully over the keys, filling the room with a melody that seemed to breathe life into the space around them. Lily sat in awe, watching her, the music resonating deep within her. Inspired, she began humming along, then quietly singing, her voice trembling at first but gaining strength with each note. The music connected them in a way neither had anticipated, forging an unspoken bond between them. One evening, Lily crafted something extraordinary, a tactile painting made of textured materials, designed for Claire to perceive through touch. She had spent days gathering fabrics, cutting and shaping them meticulously, layering them with purpose. When the moment came, Claire's fingers traced the outlines of the carefully assembled sunrise, her breath hitching as she absorbed every detail. Emotion overwhelmed her. Tears streamed down her face as she clutched the girl close, her heart swelling with gratitude. For the first time in years, Ethan saw his wife experience genuine joy, a joy he had feared she might never feel again. And for the first time, Lily felt like she belonged somewhere, not as a burden, not as an outsider, but as a cherished part of something greater. Just as the mansion brimmed with newfound warmth, darkness loomed. One evening, while Ethan was at work, an unfamiliar man arrived at the estate's gates. Disheveled and menacing, he claimed to be Lily's uncle, demanding her return. Sensing malice, Mrs. Hale refused him entry. The truth soon emerged: the man was no relative but a ruthless figure who exploited homeless children for profit. Lily had fled from his grasp, and he was determined to reclaim her. Ethan, upon learning of the situation, used his resources to ensure the man could never approach her again. But as the ordeal appeared to conclude, Lily revealed a harrowing truth: she had a younger brother, Sam, who remained under the man's control. Determined to rescue him, Ethan orchestrated an extensive search. With the help of law enforcement, Sam was found, malnourished, weak, yet alive. However, his fragile state necessitated immediate hospitalization. Lily never left his side, willing him to survive. For weeks, Ethan and Claire supported them, visiting the hospital and ensuring they had everything they needed. Sam, though physically weak, was resilient. When he finally awoke, Lily sobbed in relief, clutching his tiny hand. She had been afraid she would lose him, but fate had been kind. After weeks of uncertainty, Sam recovered. For the first time in years, Lily felt safe. Ethan and Claire, unable to bear the thought of the siblings returning to the streets, made an unexpected decision: they adopted them. Claire, once adrift in sorrow, discovered new purpose as a mother. Ethan, who had long believed financial success could fill the void within him, realized that love and family were the true cornerstones of happiness. The children brought a new kind of energy to their home. Sam, though initially quiet, began to open up, his laughter filling the halls. Lily, once hardened by the streets, allowed herself to embrace the warmth of family. And Claire, who had spent years in isolation, found herself teaching, guiding, and nurturing. Seasons changed, and with them, the Montgomery mansion became a home once more. On Claire's birthday, Lily and Sam presented her with a gift, a textured painting of their new family. As Claire ran her fingers over the intricate details, feeling the love embedded within, Ethan was unable to hold back his tears. As he watched Claire embrace the children, his heart swelled with emotion. This was what had been missing all along. The fortune he had built, the luxury he had surrounded himself with, none of it had filled the void in his heart. But this family, this imperfect, beautiful family, had given him something priceless. Sometimes, the most profound miracles arise from the simplest acts of kindness. For Ethan, Claire, Lily, and Sam, fate had granted them a second chance at happiness. The end.